I hate this song. I just hate it. I hated it then.
Play this in the background. All right, welcome back to the Say What You Will podcast. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for listening. I guess I can say this again, even if you're out on a boat.
Yeah.
I guess we had some listeners out on a boat. But Dennis, Mark, welcome to the cabin.
Glad to be here.
Again.
Yeah. The studios. And
The studios.
The cabin studio.
Von Barn Studios.
Von Bonst.
Von Barn.
All right, well, I guess we'll just jump right into the news, huh?
Yeah, we got 3 great albums we'll talk about soon. But
well, let's just say what those are.
All right, so we're going to be not in this particular order, but Megadeth, Killing Is My Business, and Business Is Good. Motley Crue, Theater of Pain, and then finally Ratt, Invasion of Your Privacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is feels like with those 3 albums, like we are in the 80s.
Yeah.
Officially.
Yep.
Deep.
But, yeah. Yep. So Dennis, you want to start off?
I'll get going. First news item I got is Deep Purple, Made in Japan, 50th anniversary release coming in August. Not entirely sure what if there's new, different material on it, but there's some packaging. Yeah, I think so. Unreleased stuff, and that's going to be coming out in August.
Nice.
2025.
50 years.
50th anniversary, and that was a groundbreaking. Some would argue probably one of the greatest live albums ever.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt
it's interesting because we've talked about this a lot, and this is like these anniversary releases, and
we're getting to that time.
Cash grab, right?
Big time.
And what are they? What's in the packaging, and is it worth buying again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow, we've talked about that because some bands put nothing back in the packaging.
That's right.
And charge you this kind of money, with nothing, no bonus tracks or unreleased material or anything.
All right.
Yeah, one of them tonight we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that's a good one. I didn't hear that. We got to say a happy birthday today to probably the best singer in Van Halen, Mr. Michael Anthony.
Oh, today's birthday?
71.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So he's
the youngest?
Not, I don't think so.
I wonder why he never did like his own solo stuff and did some lead vocals.
He's
just capable.
I don't think it's his personality.
Yeah.
I just don't. You know what I mean? He's just the support guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Roger Glover.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just dedicated to his band.
Yeah.
Even though they shit all over him for the most part. How much of that is true, I don't know, but I heard, stories.
Yep, but happy birthday. And then just a couple of quick things. Vince Neil he's canceled a few other solo shows, and Motley Crue pushed out their Vegas show. So no one knows what's going on with this guy.
Yeah, I think all that hard partying's catching up to him.
Yeah, I think he's ill for sure.
Wow, really?
So.
And there's something going on with them and Dolly Parton, right?
Yeah.
What the?
So
what?
So for those who didn't see it or hear it, actually it just came out like today. They recorded "Home Sweet Home" again. Well, let me say they didn't record it again. They layered on Dolly Parton vocals on it, and I get it. It's for charity, like it's all going to some homeless kids and stuff like that. But it's kind of funny. Like even watching the video, Dolly at one point sings a line, and you can see her like giggle after it. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Like, what am I doing in here with this guy?
Well, Vince isn't it? Someone said, can you imagine if they had Vince re-record his vocals? But no, it's the original track. They cut in the video. They cut in Dolly in the studio, and then the Home Sweet Home video. But,
every time bands like this do shit like that, it makes me appreciate more guys like Johnny Rotten. That said, fuck the establishment. I mean, he won't even get
Henry
together
Rollins.
as an example.
Yeah, guys that,
Rollins. But Rotten won't even get together with the other two Sex Pistol guys.
Right.
Because I guess one of them died or whatever. But I read an article where he's like, "No," he goes, "I'm not selling out,
right.
and I'm not gonna.
And
I'm not doing
that's
it.
what
It's
it's
not
be.
the spirit of what we were doing back then." And then you get guys like Plant, who's like, "I'm not singing Led Zeppelin."
Yeah.
When I sung that when I was in my 20s, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's fake if I'm singing it now. I don't feel it.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
God.
almost like a cover band.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Oh, you think of Crüe and that.
They have no dick.
Shout at the devil and like, oh boy, look at this
Well,
band.
they started like
represent.
that.
Yeah, that's
But
what I mean.
they abandoned that quick.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that tonight.
I just noticed that when I was looking at their albums, like on Spotify, they've got like all kinds of issues of things. So singles.
They're more money hungry, I think, than any band
No.
going right now. That band. That's why they do all this out there with Def Leppard. You think they want to play Home Sweet Home for the 4 billionth time? They just know it's cash flow, cash flow. Keep filling those stadiums, keep selling those T-shirts. Now, how much money do you need at that age? They can't survive now if they never made another penny. Every single guy in that band doesn't have to make another penny. They could live to be 200.
Tommy's going through a divorce, or maybe.
That's a shocker.
Whatever that is. Yeah, right. Who saw?
I got one here. Ozzy Osbourne. You can buy his DNA sample for $450.
Mark, hold on. You ready?
Yep.
So you probably haven't heard this. Listen to this. Ready?
There will never be another Ozzy Osbourne unless you have his actual DNA. Introducing infinitely recyclable Ozzy by Liquid Death. These cans of low-calorie iced tea with B vitamins have each been drunk by Ozzy himself. And each can contains trace DNA from Ozzy's saliva, as well as his handwritten signature. Now, once technology and federal law permits, you can replicate Ozzy and enjoy him for hundreds of years into the future. Just imagine if you could bring back early 80s Ozzy. He can mow your lawn, perform at kids' birthday parties, or anything you want.
Get it, Ozzy clone. Get it.
So get your can of infinitely recyclable Ozzy. No, this is not a joke. Yes, these contain Ozzy's actual DNA. There's only 10 available. Act now.
What is that?
Is this a goof or is this real?
I think it's real.
I think it's real.
And who's... He didn't come up with this because his mind is
Liquid
basically
Death.
a bowl of cottage cheese. So who thought of this?
Liquid Death,
Sharon?
Liquid Death approached them
They
and
approached
said,
them, okay.
and then, I'm assuming, and Sharon threw out a number like, and they're not selling the cans for a lot of money.
Well, see, that's why I think the biggest lie in all this is only 10 cans.
Right.
Yeah, I bet you there's going to be more.
I don't. So I think Liquid Death went at it this way. They said, Sharon said, give us 50 grand and then you can sell the cans for whatever money. And I think, Ozzy, they don't care. And Liquid Death is getting all this promotion about it. So, it's a good.
And what are they?
Actually,
DNA?
it's probably. I say 50K. It's probably way more.
Why doesn't he have like a menu of DNA options? Like, what's a pile of shit cost?
Right. So this DNA is from his saliva.
A urine sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to keep up with the demand and sales, he's got to keep spitting in a cup and bringing it over to them guys so they can keep up with the DNA.
No, they're
demand.
only doing 10 cans.
Oh.
Yeah. No, he's not in the
I
fact.
had to figure like, he's going to work at the freaking plant, spitting in a cup all day.
No, that's what I mean. Like, you make it a menu, like, pile of shit in a box. That's gonna run you $7.50.
Yeah.
You want corn in it?
You got to get that tomorrow.
Yeah, that takes a day or two.
Jesus.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, I had that on my, when you brought that up, I had that all ready.
Oh, you had
to
it
go.
ready to go?
Yeah, that's nutty. I heard that on like sports radio. They were talking about it. I was like, what is this?
I mean, you're buying Ozzy's autograph on a can, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And
maybe
liquid-
that's a good deal. I don't know, $4.50 for,
Yeah.
yes,
And Liquid Death is getting tons of promotion,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're loving it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're talking about it. And
Yeah.
our reach is huge.
Yeah,
Right?
Right.
So,
Oh, we got the guy in the boat,
yeah.
yeah.
right?
What else you got, Dennis?
So, just two things that worked. So, Priest Metallica final tour. Oh, but
Right.
I don't understand what's final. Them
Two together.
right
Is the way I look
okay,
at it.
because
I didn't
when,
even-
when I did a quick look, I'm like, oh, Priest's last tour. But I don't think that's the case.
Because it said last tour together or combo.
yeah, but
or
who
something.
cares?
So wait a second. I didn't even know about this. They're touring together? When?
Yeah,
probably.
this fall, I think it is.
Huh.
Yep. So
The thing is, if it's Metallica, you got to go to a football stadium. It means you're driving your ass down.
I don't know if they're
to
going to be.
Patriot place, huh?
I don't know if they're going to be if it starts in the fall,
Oh, I don't know, but
especially football season. Yeah, so they got to be inside.
So, and then speaking of things that have an ending, Jeff Tate announced that he'll be performing Operation Mindcrime live for the last time in 2006.
yeah, but isn't there a new?
Who cares?
In
Is there a
2006.
new album though? And then this final album is supposed to explain the whole mind crime. Oh, the answers you didn't know. That's what how I took that, but maybe not.
Yeah, well, I'll do some more research into that, but
I thought
I
I
understood it as being the Operation Mindcrime. This is the last time he's doing it, so you better get out there and watch it or whatever. I just don't believe anybody anymore.
No.
When they say last time, final, this is it,
Well, that's how they get
doesn't-
you into the building.
Yeah, but I
Again
mean,
and again.
it's Jeff Tate. He played at Tupelo, for Christ's sakes. 500 people. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't even think he sold it out. So
Well, we should let everyone know this is our last podcast.
this is our last podcast.
So you better listen.
Final.
Share
Final
it.
podcast.
Share it with everyone in your contacts.
Yep.
It is the last one.
Then we're going to piss in these empty Mick Ultra bottles and sell it to you. If you want to clone one of us.
Good Lord. All right. Let's talk about the show, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Tesla. So
Yeah, I
Tesla did 2 back-to-back sold-out nights here in New Hampshire at Hampton Beach Casino.
Yeah.
Packed. We saw the first night, Friday night.
Friday
I heard
night.
Saturday night was just as good.
Yep. I was talking with Dennis on the way up here about still the interest in that band.
Yeah.
People. When they come around, people come out. I mean, that place was mobbed. I haven't seen a show that packed in a long time over there.
I've never seen 2 sold-out nights there ever by
No.
anyone. The last person to do it was them like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not even Extreme, who's local,
Right.
fills it like that. Granted, Tesla's got more hits.
Yeah.
They're a bigger band. But
New drummer, right?
new drummer, Troy left. He's been gone for a while now.
Yeah.
A few years.
Yeah.
I prefer him. But the other guy's solid, and he plays all the songs.
Mild Steve Brown.
Miles Steve Brown, Wild Mick Brown from Dawkins, younger
Right,
brother. I guess
right.
he's 15 years younger
Wow.
than Mick.
So how old's Mick?
Oh, he's close to 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, isn't Lynch
Yeah.
close to 70?
Yeah.
It's true. Yep.
Band was great. Jeff Keith's voice was
Mark,
That was my only concern is how is Jeff's voice going to be, but his voice was on point.
my concern going into it was the same.
Yeah.
And the guy,
'Cause he's not young.
he sounds like he did on the first album.
Yeah. He sounded
Yeah.
fantastic.
Wow.
And obviously, Frank Hannon always sounds.
Oh, yeah.
The band.
band sounds-
Never a problem with the band.
No.
It's always whether Jeff's voice is going to be on. And he was on that night.
Nice.
Oh,
And that's a risk for everybody that bought tickets for that show. Right. You don't know what's coming out.
well, the second night.
Even
definitely.
the second night after
Yeah.
playing a nutful, yeah. Because he didn't have any days off.
No.
He had a few days off before Friday's show.
Yeah, they had a show Wednesday. in
Did you
Maine.
hear about Saturday's show? Maybe.
No, I heard it was good.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I saw some video of it too. And it's like, fucking guy brings it. And he's 66.
Yeah, he's up there. The only thing I was disappointed is they don't play Coming At You Live anymore.
I know.
That's
a great tune.
opener.
Yeah.
That was like, you knew that was opening up.
Well, they did open with a good one.
It was good, but
I'll look it up.
but I looked at a previous show they did a couple nights before, and they played it.
Oh, really?
They didn't open with it, but they played it. But that's a great opening.
They opened with
Rock
Rock Me to the Top, which is another great
Me to
one.
the Top.
Same album,
Wow.
Yeah.
right? Is that off the first one?
Mechanical, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. And, I got to say, I think they are my favorite band that formed in the 80s that is still out there today.
No argument here.
Yeah.
Favorite
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, wait, I got to check the Crows. The Crows were out in 90.
Yeah.
Like,
They were an 80s
they,
band.
in their, like, they just sound so good. I listened to Piercy recently. He's 68. Sounds
Yeah.
like shit
He doesn't
compared
have
to
nothing left.
compared to
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
I just like the blues influence.
well, that's the other thing about them. Like their first album came out, it was like straight ahead rock.
Yeah.
Then Frank started dabbling in blues. Second album had some bluesy overtones. Third album,
Yeah, they got blues.
they just got bluesier and bluesier grooves,
but heavy when they
heavy
wanted
grooves.
to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Heaven's Trail.
yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
Straight ahead rock. No frills.
And
You know?
yeah,
They didn't need a show. They didn't need stage lights and pyro and none of that 80s.
they're still
Crap.
playing with the same drum riser
It
from the
is.
second album.
Jesus.
Maybe the first.
Hey, now, it is a first.
Yeah, they just
just-
carry that thing around.
It works.
Yeah, They
I
don't-
did like the screens they had.
That was very cool.
And then the screen would have something to do with the song.
Yep.
That was
when
kind
they-
of cool.
When they did, I think it was, I don't know if it was Love Song or another one, but they played pictures of them from the early days. And God, they were
Oh, and then they
babies.
did,
Frank Hanna was 15.
yeah, he was young.
Wow.
But they did, what's that song? Song and Emotion. And they put a
Oh,
big
Steve
picture
Clark.
of Steve Clark up
Oh,
on the-
yeah,
on the-
yeah,
on
because
the
that's what it was
screen,
dedicated,
you know.
Yeah.
That they dedicated that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool.
Huh.
And I think album for album, they've got more great songs than
Oh,
any band that formed in the 80s. I can't think of.
they got
No.
so many hits. I knew every song they played. They had a couple. Maybe they have a new album. That's kind of
They played a new.
But
yeah.
out of the 15, we knew what 12 or 13 also.
Yep.
We knew all those hits.
Yeah, when they got together with the guy from Def Leppard recently,
Yeah,
that didn't.
Phil
That
Collins.
wasn't so
Oh,
strong, you know.
No, I mean,
But that was, yeah. I mean, you don't get hit every time you swing a bat, right? You know, swing and miss once in a while. I thought that was probably one of their weaker efforts, but the body of work is the best.
after Bust
Yeah.
a Nut, they had a couple of duds,
Yeah.
but even them putting together that Reel to Reel album was
Great.
great.
Yeah,
Great.
the live one I got. It's the something at some saloon or whatever. It just got released about 5 years ago.
With all the covers?
Full Throttle.
Yes, yeah,
Full Throttle.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Remember
from what's the Sturgis?
yeah.
They were down there.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not-
covers.
Yeah, but it's
No.
No, that's not the covers.
No,
Just
it's-
Reel to Reel is covers.
Reel to
No,
Reel
but
covers.
they're more deeper tracks.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was awesome.
Oh, they did changes.
Yeah.
Off the first album, which I don't know when's the last time they played that live. Probably the first album,
Yeah.
first tour with. Def Leppard.
It's just so good. And your brother, when they started, looked around, he leaned into me and he goes, we're not going to see many more bands around from our time. Like, we got to soak this in.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect night.
Mm.
It was a perfect night. It was everything was great. They sounded great. Everything was good.
You and I held hands.
We held hands. We kissed a couple times. That hickey's still there.
Oh, nice. There.
Did you buy any merch?
No, it's funny.
They
I
want
was
$50
Oh, is
for
it?
a
Yeah.
T-shirt.
I actually was gonna though. I was gonna
Yeah.
get like a hoodie or something.
Yeah.
But I
Which
ended
this
up
is
not.
how these guys are surviving now. They got to sell merch.
And tour.
They tore their ass off.
Speaking of that, I was like, in Brian Wheat's book, he talks about how great of a relationship they have with Def Leppard. Like he talks about that first tour
Yeah.
and that they're still great friends and they come into the studio and Steve did the album and Phil did the album, produced it. And I was like, why wouldn't Def Leppard take them on one of these stadium tours?
Yeah.
They'd be a great opener.
But then I got thinking, I think they're doing better business on their own
Probably.
than they would on
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
they're going to get half hour, 45
Yeah.
minutes.
And they're not going to make the money that they're making
They're
on
going
their
to
own.
have the shitty sound.
Frank, Brian Wheat manages them. He handles all that stuff.
And they're better than Motley Crue and Def Leppard. I'd rather go
Yeah.
see Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, go check them out.
Yep.
If they come around again, I'll
Highly
have to see it
recommend
again. You got anything else, Dennis?
Well, documentary review. I finally watched the Zeppelin.
yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. I was a little disappointed with the flow of it in the sense of, like, first of all, you gotta, like, you watched it in the theater. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get the sonic, you feel the music, so to speak, But they'd have Jimmy, and Jimmy Page is talking, and then it'd be like he talked for 30 seconds, and then they'd slip over to, like, a song and then, like, another topic. And I'm such a psycho fan. I just want to hear Jimmy talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
almost like, because none of those guys do interviews, really.
Well, he's like Eddie back in the day, just
Yeah,
mysterious.
But Jimmy's talking. He's like, well, yeah, when we were in the studio, we put this and we were looking to go this direction. And it's like, you just want to stay on him, let him talk.
So the
you know?
continuity wasn't.
Well, I mean, it was well done. It's just for, I guess, casual fans, they're learning stuff.
Yeah.
We know this, a lot of it. And
So
then
did
it
you
ends.
feel what you felt, Derek, about leading up to the next one, which would be
being?
Yeah.
Zeppelin.
Being Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Did you get that when you
Oh, yeah.
It just
kind of
ends.
like not a cliffhanger, but
It ends after 2.
I mean, the biggest takeaway I got was that was kind of cool is, assuming this is legitimate, is when you have Plant and he's like looking at the laptop and they're playing back John Bonham's interview.
Yeah.
And you just see him smile because I apparently
They were
never
best
heard it
friends.
before.
Yeah.
but they were
Yeah.
best friends.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
but
Well, he was
from what I
playing.
know,
He
Plant
toured.
got him in Led
Well,
Zeppelin.
they were in a
Yeah.
band together before
Yeah.
he
That's
joined Zeppelin.
Yeah.
So,
I think Bonham and Bonham's wife, John Bonham's wife, Pat's still alive today.
yep.
That
she
was
is.
why,
That's why he went
Jason,
back,
yeah.
yeah.
So she's kind of like royalty as
Yep.
far as rock royalty and stuff. But yeah, no, even Plant though. Yeah, I mean, Plant's talking and stuff, and you just want him to keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got
because
so
we don't
much
hear from these guys. You
talk
know,
about.
Well, so on that topic,
Just
have you
me.
heard? No, that's the way I felt too. Have you heard the Jimmy Page talking with Chris and Rich Robinson about the release? There's now a 20-minute video of them
you
talking
sent
about
that,
the album.
I think I haven't looked at it yet.
And 10 minutes. Because I said this is worth a 10-minute watch. So after I watched that, I felt the same way. I was like, I could hear Jimmy talk about how they crafted the songs and
Yeah.
what they were doing for an hour or two. And then I was like, why doesn't he just do a freaking theater tour with a good interviewer?
Yeah.
And they talk about the albums and the songs. And once in a while, he plays a riff.
Didn't
Yeah.
I would go see that.
Bruce
me
Dickinson
too.
do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did he
what-
did a tour, like, and he was just in a theater. It was Q&A.
Oh, he may have. There were
A few years
yeah,
ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. Was it supporting the book?
I'm not sure if he had a book or something.
Oh, I did. I
but-
read the book, but
I don't
maybe
know
it
if
was-
that's what that
Yeah.
tour was, but
But
he went out
Pa-
and just did that.
He's on to Derek's on to something. That would be great because Paige could talk about. I mean, the body of work. I mean, even like the in through the outdoor sessions and stuff like that, and you know. Yeah.
Though Paige, I think, is only going to tell you what he wants you to know. You know what I mean? He's He likes to keep a lot of that Zeppelin internal.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't.
But
I don't
it's-
know how far he'll let you in the door. You know?
I think he would. I think he's at that stage where, like in the movie, they share some pretty good stuff, and even the Black Crowes, they talked about how they recorded it, how Jimmy played on top of the Black Crowes tunes, and what that element gave it, and
So he really loves those guys, huh? The Black
oh yeah,
Crowes.
he totally. I'll watch that video I sent
Because
you.
he's not a guy that we say the Black Crowes newer music, but
Yeah,
you know, a lot of those guys don't even want to acknowledge,
Yeah.
you know,
other artists coming up
newer,
artists.
other artists and newer bands. You know that. So those guys got to be like, I can't believe Jimmy Page.
Yeah, I know.
likes
He's a
us.
he's a god.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie that we talked, I think last year about a little bit was It May Get Loud. Is that the one with Jack White?
Yeah, yeah.
And
The Edge.
The Edge.
Edge.
And they're doing it, and it's funny because you got to watch that again. I own it. It's on.
I seen it. I wish it was different guitar players. Than
Well, yeah,
those guys.
But what was interesting
other
was
than Page.
when you see Edge, like you see Page just like take the guitar and he's just like riffing, and you see like Edge is like his
Locked in.
face, like you know, like it's a guitar god right here.
Yeah.
You know?
But I never got Jack White. Like, does this guy really get the creds to be in
Yeah.
there?
I think they're just trying to get a different demographic around that
and
movie.
time period type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to share and talk about.
So-
Never mind the re-releases and shit.
Yeah.
Do what you suggest.
I think it would be an awesome tour.
Oh my God.
I also heard Jason Bonham on Trunk a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about his dad that like he would get writing credits because he would come in and say, Jimmy, I got this idea, and he'd hum it, and Jimmy would start playing. And he said he's the one that came up with Kashmir.
Oh,
He was like,
Jason?
Not Jason,
John.
John.
Oh, John.
So
really?
John came in and was like, Jimmy, I got this. Like, because he wanted to do that groove.
Yeah.
And fucking Jimmy and them worked on it and came up with
So
it.
he should get a
never knew
writing
that.
credit.
Well, he
for that.
does. That's what I'm saying. He has writing credits on songs, and that's why he would come in and hum this stuff.
Yeah. I think any guy in a band that contributes something to the structure or the creation of the song should get credit for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
What's Mick Swader doing playing with Ricky Rocket?
I didn't know he was, and I'd like it. Let's delete.
Rocket
We're gonna cut this out. I don't want to hear that. No, what?
The Rocket Mafia.
Oh, I sent you guys that.
It's a new band.
Did you?
Mick Swader's the guitar player.
I didn't know that. It's awful. They do
Oh,
covers. I sent it to you guys.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And
covers.
remember I said, is this Don Henley in the band? There's a picture of them. And one of the guys, see if you can bring it up, Mark, on your computer.
Oh, the guy with the spiky.
No, there's a guy all the way in the left. He looks like Don Henley. I'm like, looks like fucking Don Henley in this band. I don't know what picture you're looking at, but
Ricky
it's not that good.
Rocket.
They're doing like covers. And they're doing covers that you have to like. They did a Beach Boys cover, I
Swader
think.
looks pretty cool still.
Yeah, I don't know. The picture I had, it looked like Don Henley. Fucking Boys of Summer was playing with Ricky Rocket.
He's a weirdo, huh? Ricky Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something.
yeah.
Well, I take that back. I think he's a great guy.
Yeah. Super
And,
guy.
I don't want to piss him off. He hangs out here in New Hampshire, doesn't he?
Does he?
No, I'm just kidding.
God.
Oh, that was the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Badfinger song.
Vivian Campbell was on Trunk not long ago. Great interview. And Campbell's talking about living over here. You know, he lives over in Newcastle.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like talking about he does rally racing. I think rally racing, like off-road cars. And he was talking about during COVID how he started getting into training and doing that. Like he's got a race coming up.
Who?
Vivian Campbell.
What did he say about Newcastle? Did he?
He actually didn't say
It's a
Newcastle.
good beer.
Yeah.
Good English
Yeah.
beer. I like it.
He actually didn't say Newcastle. Sorry, but I guess he does live in Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't know where. In Newcastle,
Yeah,
but
right.
Newcastle's not big. It's
Oh,
it's an
142
island.
Rosemont.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Don't drive.
$1 million multi.
You'll drive into the ocean because it's not
Wow.
there. So yeah, but it's just weird that he lives.
Yeah.
And he moved there. I think he said when I moved to New Hampshire during COVID. I think he said during COVID. I was like, what the hell brought him here?
Yeah. Right.
Just
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I think we talked about New Hampshire kind of reminds them as England, kind of with the weather and mountains, and it's similar
Could yeah.
kind of geography.
And technically, he's on an island. Newcastle's an
Yeah.
island.
Yeah. Right.
So
Wow.
well,
all
every
right.
town in New Hampshire is named after something in England, right?
oh yeah, every road, everything.
Everything.
I just found out Lansdowne Street is named after Lansdowne in England.
Oh,
I had no idea.
but I'm sure there's a Newcastle, England, obviously.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything, Mark? And I got a couple more things here we can blow through.
No, I don't have anything else.
So you got to go check out, download, and listen to the new Dead Daisies album called "Looking for Trouble."
And Karabi's back in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a blues cover album,
Yep.
and they do all the blues tunes that I freaking love. Like they didn't do like any weird obscure ones. They did great ones, and they make them. They rock them up, and they sound like freaking. They sound awesome,
Yeah.
and Karabi's voice just
he's amazing.
fits it so good.
He's their best. Although I didn't hear much to Glenn Hughes.
He
stuff.
had 2 albums, 3 albums. One of them's
But
really,
he
really,
can still sing too.
really, really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's great.
And so they recorded it at famous Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, and where all the classics.
Skinner's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Skinner was there.
Well, I don't think they were that one. I think another studio. Was it Fame?
Well, all the albums?
I know the Allman Brothers were there. And like Aretha
Muscle
Franklin.
Shoals.
I think that's another studio in
Oh,
Muscle Shoals.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Send in your comments. But they do a documentary. Go on YouTube, go onto Dead Daisy's account. They do a little documentary of the studio and their recording of those songs. It's very cool.
Wow.
So,
How's Aldrich look?
looks great.
Yeah.
Playing great.
Cancer survivor.
He sounds awesome on the album.
Yeah.
There's one tune that oh Christ, it's slipping my mind. BB King tune. And it's like a slow song, and I'm like, oh boy, is Krabi gonna be able to pull this off? But he fucking nailed it. Nailed it. Sounds awesome.
Really?
But what's interesting, recording in the studio, all the shots they show, didn't see David Lowery. He's the guitar
He's
player.
probably the most unknown guy in the band.
Well, he's the
But he
He's
found
the
it.
guy that's funding.
yeah,
it.
he funds the whole thing. He's a billionaire. But so I was wondering, I was like, it doesn't sound like he recorded on it. So, what's his name? Did all the guitar.
Huh.
So, yeah, let's go check it out.
So I was just brought up Leonard Skinner, and it looks like the only album recorded there was Street Survivors.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was
Well, after that, the band was done.
Yeah, right.
That was 77.
yeah. Then one last quick thing. We talked, Dennis, you brought up in episode 30, Billy Idol has the new music coming out. Well, Billy Idol also just found out that he has let's see, hold on. He just found out that he has a son, and he found out, I guess his daughter did a 23andMe test, Billy Idol's, and then it came back as a match for this kid who's been looking for his biological father.
No way.
And it was Billy Idol.
Oh.
And so
What?
yeah. And so the son approached his mother and asked about it. And come to find out, on the Rebel Yell tour, the biggest tour, he knocked up this woman and had his kid. And she wrote, the boy's mom had a, let's see, it was during the Rebel Yell tour. The boy's mom had a breakup with her husband at the time, who he always thought was his dad, but she had a long weekend with Billy Idol, and she told her son.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Has Idol made a comment about it? Or any statement?
I don't think so. No, yeah, you know what? I think he did. And he was excited to find out and, spending time with him. And
wow.
So on that huge tour,
Jeez.
So I wonder if, the guys in Motley are telling their kids, do not do fucking DNA testing.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
Because if you do, someone else is going to come into the family and take your inheritance away.
All right.
Don't do it.
God.
So that's pretty wild. That's all I have. A lot of news. Sorry.
No
All
problem.
right, dive in.
Sure.
Which one you want to do first?
Megadeth?
Well, we're gonna put them in the middle.
Did you not
I thought.
listen?
What?
We said at the beginning we were going to sandwich them in between.
Oh, I missed
But I didn't know.
we can. Let's do
I didn't care which other one we went first.
Motley.
Okay. You want to run that album?
Motley
I'll run
and
that one
Crüe.
Theater of Pain.
4 times platinum.
Yeah.
But that was done in 95. So they had it redone again.
Right.
Well, it says 4 times platinum. Yeah.
But I
In
think
95,
In 95?
it was quadruple platinum. Were you talking about that when I was
just-
doing my papers?
Yeah. So they had it reissued, I guess.
Yeah.
Redone. I forget what it's called.
But this is the second album per se, right? Because Too Fast for Love.
I was going to bring that up, Mark, when we got into it. I think so, right?
I think the first one was a demo.
And it was on their own label.
It was on their
Leather
own label.
Records.
Then Elektra picked it up and then redistributed it, but they didn't touch it.
And I think
Same recording. They didn't
Right.
clean it up or anything. But this Shout, I think, was their first
real album.
real
Studio album.
Studio album.
Big studio.
So this was released June 21st, 85. Pasha Studios, the record plant in Cherokee. So they went to a bunch of studios to do this. Tom Werman,
Yep.
who's been linked to them for all the way up to
Do you do girls?
Dr. Feelgood. I think he did Girls, Girls, Girls.
Well, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't do. Bob Rock did.
This is their, classic lineup. Vince Neil vocals, Mick Mars, electric, acoustic, slide, backing vocals, Nikki Sixx, bass, synthesizer, and backing vocals, Tommy Lee, drums, percussion, piano, backing vocals. No other artists on it.
Well. Controversy there. So Tom Werman, in his book, said Nikki didn't even play on the album.
Yeah, but this is speculation here. There's no...
Werman made that comment.
Yeah.
Werman's got a book.
Yeah, well, no, he didn't.
Oh,
interview.
maybe it was an interview. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Oh.
He made that claim, but...
And their guitar player, before Mick joined, said he got a call to help out on the album. So this is when Nikki was heavy in heroin,
Okay.
way into the addiction.
Wow.
So, you know what's cool though about the album? Motley did this, and I don't think a lot of bands did this. They changed their look on every album.
Yeah.
They didn't keep the same, Ratt from the first 2 albums, they looked the same.
Right.
Poison, the first 2 albums, they looked the same.
Yeah. Yeah, they changed they went goth, metal, then they went glam, then they went biker,
Yep.
and then Dr. Feelgood.
Street cred.
I don't know, Dr. Feel was kind of just...
Street trying to...
Yeah.
They were wearing combat boots.
Well, it's the same with Van Halen. They
Yeah,
only
that's
wore those
true.
costumes, those tours.
That's true.
You never saw them come out again with that costume or pants or shirt or jacket on
Yeah.
another tour after that.
So this
And
is
you could probably say the albums were all different too.
Yeah, they all sound same.
this is also the album where the Vince Neil manslaughter charge for
Yeah.
DWI
Right before it, I think.
right before it.
Yeah.
So that was weighed heavily on this album, I think. It did reach. Did you mention the charts? 6.
Number 6.
Number
yeah.
6.
Up to US 6.
But it's like a lot of these bands from then. If you had a strong first album, your second album always sold based off your first album. Because
Right.
back then, you couldn't sample it.
And,
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were getting until you
that's
bought
right.
it, and they already had the money.
and what was the other thing that made this album?
MTV.
MTV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Video.
Those 2 videos played around the clock. You
Yeah.
know?
I think when we also get into this in a few minutes, we're going to find that there's some of this material that was written that didn't make the shout sessions.
Yep.
They kind of rolled into this. So I wonder
Yeah.
about their creativity. Like when you're commenting about Nikki Sixx struggling with dependency, drugs.
And Vince in
You
his
know, and
accident,
Vince
they
just
just
got
say, what do you
killed
got?
somebody.
What do you got already shelved?
Right. Yeah.
Today, Nikki calls this album a pile of rubbish.
Yeah.
There's nothing good on it. Although you could say that Home Sweet Home kind of made them,
Yeah.
a little
Neil
bit.
hated it too.
What's that?
Vince Neil didn't like it either.
Oh, no?
No.
Well. All right. Do we want to get into it?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. First song is City Boy Blues.
Fireflies in dog fights, running hot in the heat. Street nurse, another bribe. Things too hard to believe. No head out.
What do you think?
So the track's okay. It's not horrible. It's not great. But what doesn't help songs that aren't great is a guitar tone that completely sucks, and a mix that sucks, and a drum sound that sucks. Doesn't help a song that's already needs help.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
By you saying that, at one point in the songs I mentioned, I wonder what these would sound like
Redone.
like with a nice thick guitar sound and a decent drum sound. And
Right. I got to say, though, I don't think, before you laugh at me, that Vince's voice is that bad.
No.
Because this is young Vince.
He's still young.
And he's kind of like
He still
talking
sounds
through
like
stuff.
Shout.
And
He's still got
I know,
his
but
voice.
this is his classic, voice.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think on any of these songs like I badmouth Vince. Like
No,
I
this
just
is
think the
Vince.
songwriting is
Right.
This
Yeah.
isn't a great. It's not a bad song.
Right.
What's killing a lot of this for me is his guitar tone.
Yeah.
Is that him, or is that who screwed that up? Is that he can't be saying this is the tone I want on this album?
He didn't like it either. I forget, there was a quote he said I was reading that he hates it.
No crunch, no power.
No.
Nope. 4 minutes and 10 seconds, too.
Woo.
So by their standards, this is a long
Long tune.
song.
Yep.
Not a great lead off. I remember listening to this when it first came out going, what the hell is this? It just didn't punch you in a gut,
was
with a good, strong opener.
production is
You
what
got to
I was
remember,
like.
that's how we listened
Yeah.
to music back then.
You're
Yep.
expecting
Track 1, track 2.
yeah, like shout at the devil, power.
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I just said song-wise seems very basic and boring. And what you said, Mark, they're relying on their name, to get you
Yeah.
to buy the thing.
It worked.
Yeah, I said I like the riff and the verse, but the chorus and the end part of it is pretty weak.
Yeah.
It's a pretty weak song. You guys have anything else on that one?
Nope.
No.
All right, so next track is Smoking in the Boys' Room.
You ever seem to have those days where everyone's on your case from your teacher all the way down to your best girlfriend? Well, you know, I used to have just about all the time, but I found a way to get out of it. Let me tell you about. I'm sitting in a classroom.
All right, Mark. What do you got?
Well, obviously it's a cover,
Yep.
and it's a cover I would never want to put on an album that I was on. I don't think this is a great choice
No.
as
No.
a cover song. I don't think the original's good, and I don't think this is good. And the mix is just. It seems like they just rushed this album.
Right.
They may have, right? It was 2 years after Shout, and I wonder if they were getting. I don't know how long they were on tour with Ozzy and all that. So,
Well, like you said too, he's got the accident. Nicky's getting deep into
oh right, yeah.
dependencies. How much focus is going in this album?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the people that bought and loved Shout at the Devil are listening to this going, what the fuck
how do I
is
get
this?
Yeah.
$12.99 back?
Oh,
back
my
then, right?
God.
How do I get my money back? Is what
Are you
I was
talking
thinking.
about? I mean, I put those albums side by side. I mean, Red Hot and you
Even
know,
the first
Looks
album.
That Kill, yeah, or the first
you know,
album.
Piece of
Yeah.
Your
And
Action.
You're really. I think you're. You know, I mean, I know I was disappointed at the time. I was like, wow, what happened to these guys?
Yep.
Well, the only thing that saved these guys was their notorious behavior. Kept them more. They were more recognized for that
Yeah.
Yep.
in their musical, input
Yep. I agree.
at this stage.
So I read the other day that this was a cover that they tried to do when they first formed, like when they first got together with Vince and everyone. And Mick said it just never worked. It just never came out right.
It still didn't.
Right. So, but they needed some sort of cover, and they did this. So,
Yeah.
let's see.
There was a video with that too.
well, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
This is
MTV made it.
MTV,
Yeah.
Yep.
going on big time during this period.
Yep. All right. Next song, Louder Than Hell. All right. What do you got?
This would be a decent track and a ballsy track if Mick had a better guitar tone or sound.
This is the song that I said, I wonder what this album would sound like with good guitars on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think these songs have potential with a 3-layered Les Paul ripping
Yep.
crunchy guitar.
So this song was demoed.
Yeah, it used to
at
be
the
Hotter
Shout
Than
at the
Hell.
Devil, and I sessions.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the better songs on the album.
Yeah, it's a decent
You know,
song.
which isn't saying much, but
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. And I'm telling you guys, I think the best musician on this so far is Vince Neil.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying he sounds like, the.
Well,
he's
Tommy's
still-
great, but
still getting
he's almost
more-
buried in the mix.
Right, he's buried in the mix, and I'm not saying like the production is killing a lot of these guys, but I just don't think that. I mean, if you liked Motley and you were into Vince in the early days, I mean,
This is Vince. You're getting
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
signed up for. You know?
Yep.
He's an acquired taste, but he's doing what he
Well,
does.
it fit them, right?
He fit. Yeah, they're supposed to be street raw.
Yeah.
You know?
By the way, right now, Kilmer may be pulling his hair out.
Well, I'm just being honest. I love Motley Crue. I love
Actually,
Tommy Lee,
I
and I,
didn't
love
even-
a lot of their songs.
I didn't even think of that. This would have been perfect for him to video in,
Yeah,
call in for
Yeah.
this. That would have been
Well,
great.
he'll chime in once he sees, listens to it.
Yeah. But sorry, Scott. We'll get you on another one this year. Kind of reunion from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Next song is Keep Your Eye on the Money. I think Vince just said it there. Oh, yeah. Like, this is like, what a riff is horrible. Oh.
This song's weak. Man, Tommy's drum. If I'm Tommy and I heard this finished product, I'm like, what the fuck's going on with my drum sound on this album?
Yeah.
You know? And especially somebody with his power and ability, he could do so much more.
And what's funny is I like the groove on the song.
Yeah, but it's just not translating.
No.
Because it's like he's hitting tin cans and garbage can covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, listen to Dr. Feelgood when they got Bob Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Even the weak songs on that album sound good.
Yep.
Probably one of the worst guitar solos, too.
Oh,
he's got some
awful.
bad
I wrote that. What a shitty solo.
He was never.
No.
No, but he
great
had some
guitar
tasty
player.
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Bluesy.
So, and you hear the song and you say, what is the name of this song? Like while you're listening to it? Let me ask you, how many times do you think they say, keep your eye on the money in this song?
Twice.
I'll give you.
Or you're going the other
30.
way.
30.
No, how many times do they like sing
Keep
it?
your eye on the
Right.
money.
How many times over do they say it?
I don't know. What, you
Ready for? I counted because after the guitar solo, that's all they say, over and over and
many?
over,
Like 20?
23 times.
He really wants you to keep an eye on your wallet.
Yeah. Keep your eye on the money.
Yeah.
Just
Oh my God! Because
throw them together
that's all you
quickly.
hear in this song. Is there's like 2 verses and then keep your eye on the money for 4 minutes.
I mean, I'm looking at like these songs written by Nikki Sixx, thinking, what frame of mind was he in? How do you
He's a
compose
junkie
music?
at this point.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next song is one we all know, "Home Sweet Home."
You know I'm a dreamer, but my heart's a
All right. Here we
You
go.
want me go? I'll
Go ahead.
You go.
I hate this song. I just hate it. I hated it then because, again, coming off that, I get it. It's popular and it was a big hit, and it still is. They play it live, but I just, as a fan, I hated it back then because to me, I'm like, the fuck happened to these guys? I had the first 2 albums.
Well, like
listening
you
to
said,
this.
overnight. It didn't take 4 albums to mature into this. They went from, like you said, red hot
Yeah,
to Home Sweet Home piano. It's like
I couldn't believe it.
one album.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. To me, this was like, all right, they're done. You know, video, and then now this is being played at high school dances and stuff. It's like, Jesus.
I get the song keeps this album alive, obviously.
No,
right? This
I know.
is a dying
and it was
album.
a hit. I'm not saying, but
Right.
it's not. It's like you got to reclassify what genre. Like, what is this? This is not hard rock now.
No,
you know
this
what I
is
mean?
a pop rock
You know,
hit, but they know MTV. They're not. Nicky's not stupid.
no,
He knows exactly what it's going to take.
Yep.
You know, I got to write a
And that's-
ballad, and I know MTV's going to play it because we're Motley Crue, and it's the live footage thing like they all do. It's textbook cookie cutter, and
Yep.
it worked.
And we've
Yeah.
talked about this, that back then, all you needed was 1 or 2 singles.
And I just was going to say, Nicky had a knack for saving albums because he always had at least 1 to 2 hits
Yeah.
on every album.
Yeah.
And the
Yep.
rest of the album could suck.
Yeah.
But he always found a way to come up with 1 or 2
Yeah, this was
huge
one of
hits
them.
that saved the album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
and this
just-
is a perfect example of this song. This album's tanking, right? This thing is like almost underwater at this
Yeah.
point. And then he comes in with this, thing comes right back to the surface. And, you know, like you said, is it the Motley we like and want to hear? Absolutely not. Is it commercially smart? And
Yeah.
did it sell? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Platinum.
platinum, right?
Yeah.
This is what does it.
Yeah, I
Kingston
know.
Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that ended up
headlined
at...
they headline it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the story.
Yeah, but they're part of their fan base is tapping out by this
Well,
point.
we talk about
Are you
Metallica.
kidding me?
the guys that like Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Justice, and Master of Puppets, they don't like Load, Reload,
Or Black.
even the Black album.
Trunk just did a poll, a throwdown, and he was comparing. So Trunk did Kill 'Em All.
No, Justice for
No,
All.
Justice for All
And Black.
in the Black album.
Yep.
Unanimously, Justice won.
Of course, by the Die Hard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but what's the soccer mom like to hear in the car?
Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, and then to Sandman. yeah, Home Sweet Home.
With the cliche lyrics and the...
You ask yourself, is Hetfield a sellout or is he a smart bastard? Because tomorrow night they're playing in Copenhagen to 300,000 in a soccer field,
Yeah.
and Slayer's playing at Tupelo to 300 people. So if they never transitioned, where's their career?
No, so you're
They had
right.
to
I mean,
evolve at some point, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but we
I mean, you don't have to,
We don't
but-
have to like it.
No.
I mean, I remember watching I went to when they played at Fenway with Def Leppard. This song came on. I'm like, time to take a piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Now it's like hearing Jump. Van Halen comes on with Jump. All right,
Yeah.
gotta take a piss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. Isn't that funny? That's probably the only song by Van Halen that you would do that to. In the first 6 albums.
No,
Like, all
first
the-
6, yeah.
Like, I
I was
can't
going to
think of
say,
the-
if you're talking about the Sammy era.
No.
No, the
Yeah.
first 6, probably that one. It's just,
Yeah. Like I never
what
thought of
else?
it. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So next song.
Well, take your whiskey home.
Bite your
Yeah,
tongue.
come on.
Tonight, we need a lover. Let's see. What do you got, Mark?
I like this riff.
Sounds
It
like
doesn't have the power we talk about, but that's his tone isn't dialed in. But that opening riff,
Yep.
you know, and the drums, I like that. And that's what I put here. The album was re-recorded with better mix and guitar tone. I think that brings these songs up. Not a lot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're not great songs, but this is one song that would definitely be even better with a better production.
it sounds like a riff from the first album.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
right.
Good riff.
Yep.
What do you think about the part tonight?
That's a little cheesed out there.
Yeah.
You know,
I wrote that. I was like, oh, I can't stand that vocal part.
no.
I thought Mars solo's a little bit better on this. Heavier. This is the classic Crüe. This is the reason why you
Yeah, I
bought
want
the
to
album.
hear more of this on his album.
Right.
You know,
I didn't do a count, but again, this is another one that they say a lot. Like
the chorus is
Yeah.
just loops.
so much.
Who writes the lyrics in Motley
Nikki.
Crue? Nikki
Nikki.
does that too, huh?
Yeah.
No.
Next song, Use It or Lose It. Mark, you really like that song?
I never heard a guitar sound like that.
I have one when you go, it's you got it Sears and Roebuck, and you got one of the
Yeah.
amps there and played it.
How does that slip through the producer's fingers? How do you listen back in the studio,
Worman, of all
worm
people.
it, and go,
Yeah.
that's absolute garbage?
Do you think they were trying to go for something? Like
What?
punk, polished rock
I don't know, Dennis.
sound?
What?
I think this was an album that was just thrown together. It's like those albums that are created when a guy dies or the band dies, and then all of a sudden the estate gets together and they re-release a new album post-mortem of all these B-sides.
Well, it's kind of
That's
like
what this is. I
Coda.
mean, you
Coda,
got-
right.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're like, wait, there's no flow. There's no...
Nah, it's just a bunch of stuff thrown on there to sell.
That's what this is,
Yeah.
I think.
Like that riff, opening riff, I like it.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it's coming out of a $10 guitar from Sears, right?
Right.
Kills it. I like Tommy's
know what-
drumming in it, the double bass, but it's buried and it's not a good drum sound.
It's a guitar actually with an amp built into it. Remember those? That's what it is.
I don't know what it is. It really shines on this. You're just like, oh.
It's, however, I will say this is probably my favorite song. Getting past all that,
The songs
bullshit,
are fine.
Love
This
it.
one's fine.
You know, Tommy moves it along with the drums, but I have here, Mark, but another shitty guitar tone. You know,
But did he ever have a great one other than the Karabi album? I mean, that was a whole another layer.
no,
right?
but I think he had better. You know,
Well, he had better with Bob Rock.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
Bob Rock do the one with Karabi?
I think
he did,
so.
right?
I think he must have.
Who did the one
everything
before
on that
this?
album is
Shout.
huge.
No, well, that was Werman too.
Yep.
So I wonder if Werman was under contract with these guys
For so
for
many
another
albums.
album, and he just kind of like just
Well, we gotta
pushed
kn-
through
Yeah,
this.
because he's on Girls, right?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
I
I don't
assume he
know.
did Girls, Girls, Girls. And then Bob Rock came in, and that's their best sounding album
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, production wise.
So yeah, that's a tough one. Next song, "Save Our Souls."
So I actually thought this slower pace didn't really fit them that well, and I thought it sounded like Dio. I thought it was like a Dio song.
You know, I didn't think the slower.
And I like the way you said it,
Yeah.
nice and slow too, over there, Tiger.
No hook.
No, and the other thing is, what's with the random slide? Would you just like start the song? Go, hey,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It was just like random.
Yeah.
You don't hear
Yeah.
it again in the song.
Terrible.
His slide does not fit Motley Crue.
Not until
Not
the
on
girls.
Yeah,
That slide
it
song.
doesn't fit these songs.
No. I don't have anything other than this is not my cup
Oh,
of tea.
his solo was rough too.
I didn't even get that far.
Oh.
So yeah.
Wow.
He didn't miss much.
All right. Next song is "Raise Your Hands to Rock," Mark. All right. That's enough.
So
Leonard Skinner.
it sounds like it doesn't even belong on his album.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is just a mishmash.
Just
Coda
thrown
style.
together.
But I like the acoustic guitar in
Yep.
the intro. And I like the verses.
The choruses.
I kind of like the verse, what he sings in the verses. The chorus is
Raise your hands
cheesy.
to rock.
Yeah, stupid. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. The best part is it's only 2 minutes ish.
And we talked about that Tesla song off the first album.
Little
It's got
Susie?
the same thing. Rock. What's that one? They did.
Oh,
they
but
opened
theirs
with.
is, yeah.
I mean, Tesla better tune, but
Yeah.
they do that rock chant.
take
Oh,
me-
what's this?
I
Raise your
can't-
hand to rock.
yeah, but I
What was the opener for
I
Tesla?
know. We just said it at the beginning of the podcast. I don't remember. Something. Yeah, not a great tune.
I just thought this was kind of like Southern rock to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know, the way they were approaching the
Yeah,
song.
it's like, doesn't fit.
No.
But I did like pieces of the song.
Yeah.
I like the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
I like
Yep.
the guitar intro on that.
All right. Fight for your rights. Dennis, go.
I kind of like this song. I like the, this to me seems like it's another B-side to the Shout album. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it could be
The riff.
leftover. It's
Yep.
got that kind of feel.
Yep. I mean, I didn't mind it. 3 minutes, 50 seconds, like the riff. Again, agreed. This is going to be the same. The production sucks. His tones, it sounds weird. The solo wasn't great. But I mean, I didn't mind the song in compared to everything else
No.
we've had to listen to.
And I like that driving bass and drum.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun.
yeah.
And I like the chorus in this one, actually.
Mm.
So this is a decent track.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything about the production again because we know
Yeah.
the tone sucks. But
I didn't like it. I didn't like the riff. It felt like a drunk jam
Yeah.
that they were doing, and I just didn't.
Right.
I didn't think it held up, that song. So say what you will, Dennis. Give me a little bit more than yay or nay. Does it hold up?
That's a tough. This is tough because of they had some big. I'm gonna say no.
It's tough because you're talking about two
I know,
mega
I know,
videos. Put these guys on the commercial map.
Right. Yeah.
Are they great songs? No. One's a sappy ballad. For me, does it hold up? No. I don't want to listen to this as a Motley Crue fan.
Right.
Does it hold up universally? Yeah, it holds up.
Right.
Because they had some two huge hits on it.
So people would buy this.
People
now,
are going
I
to buy
guess.
it. Well, no, because people just buy the song now. But,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So no.
So no for me.
Yeah. I said, having chewed apart all the songs on this, pretty good. It is interesting that we didn't talk about Vince. We think he was the best part of it.
Well, Vince was what
I
you
think so.
expected from
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah.
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 So, I do have freaking memories came rushing back because this was always playing in the car and cruising around. And,
Yeah, it's nostalgia.
but
and
no,
his bits and pieces, I like. This riffs he's got.
Yep.
But his tone really doesn't solidify it with me. If he had a great
Yep.
guitar sound in some of those riffs, I say, it kind of holds up. I can listen to these
Right.
guitar tracks, but
yep.
the production ruins it.
Yeah, but I said no. I don't have to listen to this album ever again.
And the band says no.
Oh,
Yeah, the band doesn't even like
I think I read that quote. A pile of rubbish.
Yeah.
Nikki
Who's
said.
that, Nikki?
Yeah.
I mean, he got that Home Sweet Home was huge. And,
He lucked out.
Yeah.
He had
and,
He managed to
but-
do that, and we could talk about that in a couple of years with Girls, Girls, Girls. He just he finds gold. You know what I mean? Over and over. He keeps his nose above water.
Yep. All right. Next album, Megadeth. Killing is my business, and business is good.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
So this album is the first released from Megadeth. This is Megadeth's first album, otherwise known as Dave Mustaine, the leader of the band, lead vocals, guitar. Dave Ellefson, bass guitar, backing vocals. Chris Poland,
Yep.
who's the second guitar player. Gar Samuelson on
Yeah,
drums.
drummer.
Yep. And then there was this Lee Roch also did some drums. Produced by Dave Mustaine. They fired the producer.
Is that Carrot Fay?
Yep. They got rid of him. And they were on a low budget. You probably read that they were spending half the money on drugs and alcohol and so forth. So they were having money issues when they were recording this. And charts, US 169. So this speaks to like the fact that this is the early stages of this type of music.
Thrash.
People didn't really understand it. And by the way, back in these days, I read that thrash wasn't the term thrash wasn't created yet. So the media was classifying this as speed metal.
Speed metal.
So that was the classification, speed metal. And then eventually thrash was that terminology was created. But this is one of the original, I guess you could say, groundbreaking albums in terms of what this type of music became.
Yep.
So
How big of a drunk do you need to be when the guys in Metallica back in those days called you a drunk?
yeah,
And they were
and
called
got rid and fired you
Alcoholica.
Yeah.
and fired you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fired you. I
Right.
mean, like they weren't drinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dave, I read, was driven to make it work. He wanted it to be faster and heavier than Metallica.
Yeah.
So,
Have you ever?
But what's the missing element? What's the faster, heavier with
love.
songwriting?
Oh,
You can be as fast and heavy as you want.
yeah.
Metallica wrote. So,
Yeah.
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 you know,
Well, this guy got there
songwriting.
eventually. Yeah.
Yep.
okay, you listen to Ride the Lightning. It's fast, it's heavy, but they're good songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything else?
There's not much else to say about this because, again, this was the debut, and it was released in England through the record label as Combat Records. This was an independent label from, I believe it was Elektra. It was underneath that umbrella. And this was Combat Records back in those days was focused on speed metal and punk. That's what they did.
But you're kind of hand in hand as far as
Yep.
attitude,
Yep.
underground,
But we'll get into what we feel about this, but this was considered in that thrash community a groundbreaking album.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. What do we got? First song, Last Rites, Love to Death. Let's see here. So what we can't get into because of copyright stuff, but that's the intro, and it gets heavy, right?
Yeah. Heavy.
So I could- Go ahead, Mark. What do you
What's
got?
all? I got chaos. As soon as Dave's done playing it, that's Dave playing the piano.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just like, and they're off.
yeah,
And it just
full throttle.
full throttle pedal to the freaking floor.
Yep.
There they go. Which, like you said, that was predetermined by him. He had this is calculated effort to blow Metallica out of the water here, right?
Yeah,
You play that fast, we play faster.
Yep.
Yeah, he's angry.
What do you got?
Same thing. I mean, the guitar rips. When the piano, you just know
Something's coming.
something's coming. And Mustaine's scream was, I thought, kind of awesome in it. Not really a hook, but just again, we said full throttle, just like a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, this was Dave wrote this as a love song to his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, he must have been in love.
Love you to death. I like the riff, but when it gets going, I don't know if I can hear that
No,
fast.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's fast. And that's the tightest snare sound I've ever heard.
Yeah.
We'll hear it in some others, but it was tight.
Yep.
Yeah. May have
Good
been
drummer.
Hmm.
I think he had that same lineup on the next album.
Yeah.
Same guys.
Well, Poland left. I think
on after this album? 'Cause I
I
thought
think
he
he
was
did.
on Peace Sells.
I don't know. I'll look it up while we.
All right. Next song is Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. All right.
I like that.
I see heads bobbing around the table.
That's a cool riff.
Yep.
Great riff.
I like that.
I
riff a lot.
actually started thinking like there was a little bit of Zach Wilde in there, with his playing, his riff in there. But
I was thinking it reminded me like Subhuman.
Oh, Skid Row?
Skid Row album.
oh yeah, yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
It sounded like there's layered vocals or two people singing.
Yep.
It was like, why am I hearing like Sounds like a couple guys singing the verse.
I didn't have that.
Back to ballistic speed, right?
Yeah.
After it kicks in.
So you see in like the formula here, it's interesting, and all the songs do this. There's a strange, weird intro, right? Then blast off, right? And then tempo shift or tempo change, and then the vocal sometimes comes in late, right? And then back to back to
And then they usually end it with the original riff that started the song.
Yeah.
It's kind of a formula that I think that genre was kind of...
Yeah, the tempo changes are always part of almost new songs, like within the song.
I mean, I didn't think the production's great here, but like you said, they didn't have a lot of money, right?
No.
So
Great tune, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, next song is Play the Skull Beneath the Skin. All right. What do you got, Mark?
Decent riff. It sounds like he's just noodling around in the beginning, like doing scales before, and they didn't know he was being recorded.
Right.
But this song's got that classic Megadeth style. Decent track. It's got demo quality. I think this could be cleaned up. He might want to do a reproduction of this album. It would sound really good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I thought this was sound a lot like early Metallica.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And I got another one like that.
A minute 30 before his vocal comes in. Time that.
I love the groove intro, and what are we? 3 songs in. I went into this thinking this wasn't going to float with me that well, but surprisingly, another good tune from me.
Yep.
Love it. Next song is These Boots.
Yeah.
Let's see. These boots are made for... Talk about changing.
Yeah, it's just like it sound like Megadeth, the thrash. It sounds like they're jamming in Mustang's mother's basement.
Yeah.
Basically just screwing around before practice starts and they play thrash.
Now, this is the Nancy Sinatra song.
Yeah, it's a cover.
But
it took me a while to figure that out.
Actually,
she was pissed.
She covered it.
I
don't even think it's...
No, she came out with it in 60-something.
Yeah, but she made it popular.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was her. But I heard that she was upset.
I think it's the original artist that was upset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because Dave changed the lyrics.
Yeah.
That's why.
But I thought it was very punk influenced.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of a mess.
No, I know, but I mean, it's like a fun song thrown in there that you're like,
Yeah, it was just a departure from the last.
Yeah, yeah, he's just screwing
trash.
around. You kind of laugh or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't...
Not much to it.
No. It's like they're just screwing around.
I mean, we've had a couple
rehearsal.
but it's just a weird cover for them. And we've had a couple other artists where they cover a song and we're like, why are they covering that?
Well, you think they'd cover like an early Priest, in the 70s, like a deep cut.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Now,
Or like Cactus or something.
Yeah, something old.
Do we know if Mustaine's fucked up when he's
Probably.
in those days? Yeah, like even after.
Hold on, let me give him a call.
Give him a call. See
Well, that or he cleaned up when he got booted. And he's like, all right, I got to focus on this.
Right. Yeah.
All right, next song, Rattlehead.
Oh, here I come. Stand up and plant your feet. Listen, I'm letting my steam.
All right.
Just bludgeoning speed.
Sounds like Priest in the beginning.
It did. Oh, it sounded like Maiden a little too.
Yeah, right. Good point. Yep.
Huge influence on him, right?
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Ellison said something like he'd love to redo these songs slower. He goes, "We're way too fast."
Yeah.
He'd like to
Faster!
slow them down. Not slow, but bring it down a little bit.
I mean, his vocals they enter early on this song, right? I mean, it's a couple seconds in, he's singing.
Yeah.
But the
They had a
world
cool
is
middle.
now hearing Dave Mustaine for the first time.
Yeah.
With that vocal and his, like, snarl. It's just...
Now, who's playing all the solos? Him or Poland? Like some of that ripping fast stuff. Is that him? Or
I think
they just trading off?
I think they're trading off because and by the way, Poland was on the next album.
I thought he was, yeah.
you're
Then
right.
he left after that, I think, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
So I had apparently this is the band's mascot. I had no idea.
What?
Rattlehead.
Oh, Rattle-
It's a skeleton
Oh, really?
figure wearing a suit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had that on a lot of their albums.
Yep. That's so. I said, well, this is fast, but not so bad.
But they had a
Great
time
riff.
change in the middle.
I wrote also. I love the tempo change.
Yeah.
Down slower.
That was
In
cool.
the
in
song.
middle.
Yep. And I said, so far, this may be my favorite song.
Yeah. Good too.
Yep.
I would. They could slow that, beginning part down a little, give it more, kick-ass groove. 'Cause it was
Right.
just flying. Sometimes you get too fast,
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good too.
All right. Next song, Chosen One. That's the tightest snare sound I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That is classic Priest
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down.
That riff.
Well, I said it
And
doesn't.
even the way he sings and comes in, it's like Halford coming in.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I wrote didn't feel like thrash at all. It felt like UFO or some British
right.
metal.
Yeah, I put down this is the closest to a single, like
Yeah.
a radio
Oh, yeah.
type
It's
of
my
music.
favorite tune. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That riff is great.
Catchy.
Yeah.
2 minutes 54 seconds in and out.
Yep. Good tune. All right. Looking, let's see. Looking Down the Cross. All right. We don't get much, but what do you got?
Well, it's not 1,000 miles an hour. Like some of the other stuff, but they don't. There are stuff that's not. Like, what was that one album we did? Where everything was just like out of the gate. Do we do a Slayer album?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It's not quite like that.
No.
Yeah, they mix it up a little here. Decent song. There's a cool bass drum breakdown in the middle. That was really good. And I thought the ending of the song was Slayer, Rain and Blood.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that reminds me of... Although this came out before that.
Right.
But... Or maybe they grabbed it from this.
Yeah, I thought the lead was a little lower in the mix, which was odd, but we've talked about
vocals or the guitar?
the guitar. We've talked about the production, but another good riff for me.
I'd love to hear this remastered. I
Right.
think this would sound
They
really
did
good.
remaster.
Oh, they
it. You're-
did?
You're listening to the...
I just did the original.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, there was a couple remastered and added tracks and stuff, so...
So what do you get on this one?
I agree with everything. I don't have anything else to add. I mean, like the bass on it. I mean, 5 minutes. This is a long song.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we always say good songs go by quick.
Yeah, right.
You know?
All right. This is the last song, I believe, right?
Yep.
Mechanic. All right, Dennis, what do you got?
Popular song for this type of music.
Yeah.
You know, the guitar tone. Love the sound of his drums. I mean, is that guy popular? I don't know anything about drummers.
He's
like just a
just
session guy.
These guys,
yeah.
but he was in and out. He did the first 2 albums. He's English, I think, or European. I don't know.
I thought
he lives over in Newcastle.
Newcastle. He's up the street.
I thought that I read somewhere that Dave wrote this with Metallica. I don't know what the
Wow.
I think
What's
I
up
heard
with
that
that?
too.
When I first heard the song, I just heard the song first. I go, I hear Metallica
yeah.
in this, like,
Right.
and I go, it sounds like something off Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
And then I go back to, Wikipedia, and it says this was, what was that song off of Kill 'Em All? It's the riff off it. Shit. I fucking remember the riff.
Huh. So he wrote the
And
riff.
I'm like, I guess that's why it sounds like a Kill 'Em All Metallica.
Right.
Right.
song.
While you're looking that up, I just
Yeah,
said
go ahead.
when it kicks in, it's a fucking great tune.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah, no doubt.
again, another tune I didn't think I would like when it starts, but then I like it. And then in the middle, he yells, "Fuck yeah!" in the middle of the song. It's so awesome. I love his voice.
Yeah. Me too. It's unique.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Uh-huh.
mention that in my final say, but did you find that, Mark, at all?
Yeah, I got the songs right here. The Four Horsemen.
Ah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a song. He goes, I got it off that. He says he wrote it
Right.
probably. In Metallica, he goes, I just
Yeah.
used the riff.
You know what? I think I've.
And I
think
go,
I've
I
read
know that
Yeah.
sound. It sounds
Yeah.
like Metallica, and it sounds like something off Kill 'Em All. And it turns out that's the riff.
Huh. All right. Well, that was a quick 8 tunes. Dennis, what do you got? Say what you will. Does it hold up?
Yes.
Any more?
Huh? Yeah. No, I think this was yeah. They're one of the big 3, right?
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. And this started it all. Like I said, we're introduced to Dave Mustaine's vocals, I mean, he made better albums
Yep.
and better songs.
Yeah, but he had
You
money.
know. Yeah,
He could do
but
that.
yep.
My wife, she goes, "What albums you guys doing?" So I said, Motley Crue and Ratt, Invasion, and Megadeth. Killing is my business. His business is good. She goes, "I don't know if I know that."
Yeah.
So she goes, "Hey Google, play Killing is my business." Starts playing it. She goes, "I don't know this," and I go, "Play their big hit," and it played.
Symphony.
Yeah.
Symphony
And
Destruction.
she was like, "Oh
Everyone
yeah, I've
knows
heard
that.
this."
Yeah.
Well, right here, the Four Horsemen is a revamp of Mustaine penned The Mechanics, which is originally had lyrics about having sex at a gas station.
Oh yes.
A modified version of his composition was the original lyrics appeared on Megadeth's debut, "Killing Is My Business." So I was like, God, I knew that riff.
That's right.
You guys didn't pick the riff up, or did you?
No, I didn't make the connection, but I did read that. Now, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, this holds up. I mean, this is groundbreaking during that period. You're talking about a guy that doesn't have a pot to piss in, going in the studio, and he made a pretty decent album for probably the time and money he had to make an album.
Yeah.
And like you said, we could, they remastered it, and
Yep.
it's just a critical album. I think if you're a thrash speed metal guy,
Yeah.
this is in your collection.
Yeah, but
You know.
it's so true about Mustaine. It's survival, right?
Survival.
He gets kicked out of a band. I was on the streets.
Get kicked out of a
and
band
no
and
place.
just get in the second best thrash metal band ever. After you
Yeah,
get
start the
picked-
the next.
I'll be in the second
But
best one.
He could have quit the scene and played with Poison. or
Right.
whatever.
He could have
He's
said, I'll
so
do the
true
LA.
to this
He played it
music.
safe and
Yep.
did the LA
That's
strip.
the difference between what we just heard and this guy. This guy's actually an artist. I mean, no disrespect to Nikki Sixx, but I mean, this guy's he's creating music.
Yep. I said I always loved Dave's attitude and his vocal, kind of like how I like Tammy's from Faster Pussycats attitude and vocal over Phil Lewis's attitude and vocal,
Yeah,
kind
right.
of like that. It holds up. I was shocked. I didn't think
Yeah.
I would dig it, and I did dig it. It was groovy, Mark.
It was groovy.
Yes. All right, last album here. Ratt, Invasion of Your Privacy.
What do you got?
I don't have anything.
Oh, you don't?
No, go, Dan.
I got it up. I didn't
All
know
right.
you
Go
wanted to do it. Same as Motley here. Second studio album, which again, they had a
EP.
EP.
Yep.
That you can't get today.
Really?
Nope, you can't get
Some
it
good
anywhere.
tracks on that, too. Well,
Yeah.
there's some re-released on Back for More was on that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was on
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Out of the Cellar. Recorded Rumbo Studios in Atlantic. Bo Hill, producer, which he did I don't know if he did the EP, but he did Out of the Cellar. And he had a long relationship with them. You got Stephen Pearcy on vocals, Ron Crüe on bass, Warren D. Martini lead guitar, Robin Crosby rhythm guitar, and Bobby Blotzer on drums, which is the classic lineup. Double platinum.
Yep.
Where'd it peak? Billboard number 7 in 85. So it
and-
did.
Go ahead. Motley was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are
What?
very intertwined back in the day.
Yeah.
I think Motley kind of, because of their notorious
but America-
behavior, took off higher because
Yeah.
no one in Ratt was dating supermodels and killing people in cars.
Whoa. Tawny Katane was on the first cover.
Oh, that's right.
Robin. Yeah.
But she was a nobody then.
Yeah.
Um,
But this album made them so big
this,
that Bon Jovi opened up for them.
Yes, I have.
On
yeah, well,
this.
Bon
The
Jovi.
tour. That tour.
wasn't-
Yep.
No, they
Yeah, they
weren't.
didn't have
hadn't-
Slippery
they
with
hadn't
Wet.
had Slippery yet.
Yeah.
But that's funny.
I don't know. What else we got on this?
Oh,
Not
there.
much else.
And I think, go ahead.
There's not a lot of info on, like the background of the recordings or anything like that.
No, the band's on cruise control here. You know.
Yeah, and like we always say, somebody's leftovers from Out of the Cellar, probably.
Yeah.
You know, because back then, you didn't have 4 years between albums.
Right.
You came off tour, you go in the studio. You know, they don't do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then, every year you had an album. So these guys are writing in the tour buses. You know, Van Halen was using old shit from the 70s just to get 12 tracks on an album, right?
Right.
Back then.
They had a bigger budget for this album. In an interview with Juan Crucier, he said, actually a couple of years ago, he said, in the first album, they had like one amp that Robin and
Yeah.
Dean Warren were sharing, and then this one they had proper gear. Everyone had their stuff, and you can kind of hear it. They start to get a little more of their sound.
I think that rhythm section's pretty strong on this.
Yeah.
I mean, Crucier now would Blotzer call him the dancing bear now because he's always bopping around. But his bass and drums on this,
Yeah,
they
solid.
sound good.
And I think there was a little bit of animosity with Crosby towards D. Martini
Yeah.
because I don't know if Crosby knew when this started, he was going to take a backseat
Oh,
to
yeah.
this guy,
Yep.
which I think was the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
but I don't know how good that sat with him, you know.
I read an interview on Rolling Stone from Tim Holmes when this came out, and he said, heavy metal is the idiot bastard spawn of rock and the internal embarrassment that will not die.
That's why we love it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Oh, so good. Freaking smoke outside. Smell that?
Yeah.
Anyways, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
So let's see. We can jump right into the tunes. And the first song is You're in Love.
You take the midnight subway train. You You strip for lightning.
Kicking right in.
That's how you open up an album. Mm-hmm. Right there.
Yeah.
That's how you open an album.
Not with City Boy Blues.
I put down
Now I know why they had the blues.
one of the great song openers of all time.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the pre-chorus. Warren's just shredding
Yeah.
on this song.
I thought I put like him and Crosby. They're like the Scorpions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like that.
Yeah, same
rhythm
thing. Where
section,
with Jabs is
tight.
pretty much lead.
So tight though. You know what I
The whole
mean?
band's tight. And then you wrap it up with that live video coverage of the,
Oh, yeah.
video comes out and it's live. It's not live.
Yeah.
Live footage. And you're like, I can't wait to go to that concert. You know what I mean? Great opener.
Yep. Great. Steven's voice always had this little echo that I've always liked. Great drum sound for back then, Mark. What do you think of the drum sound?
Yeah, I think he mixed in a little electronic.
Little
Yeah, but he had
Simmons
that on Out of the Cellar.
Yep.
Like
For Back for More, right.
Video.
He didn't use it all the time, but you'd sprinkle it in some of the songs.
And there was a video for this one, obviously.
Yeah.
You
The
were
outro
talk-
drums
you know,
on this
so
are great.
Yes.
He's got some good drumming at the end.
You know, it's interesting. If you look at the video, Piercy had a tattoo by his left eye. He had like a little
Was it a-
mark.
Yeah.
And then obviously he doesn't have it anymore. But
Yeah.
check it out when you look at the
Now,
video.
you think that was
Was it-
something he drew on there?
Right. That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it was the time, and
They all drew on their face.
Yeah,
You know,
so-
Nicky put the line.
Yeah. So it was like
But they
a
never
mark.
went overboard like Motley
No.
on theater.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
it's probably
you look at
makeup.
Warren, you go, yeah, he's got a little bit of eyeline, but he's not. He doesn't look like Mick Mars. You know what I mean? I think they kind of backed off it a little more
Right.
than Motley.
Yep.
Or
And
Poison.
and they weren't changing their look like Motley on
No.
their album.
Right.
So yeah, great opening tune. All right, Never Use Love. I mean, these riffs sound a lot like the riffs on Theater of Pain.
I was just gonna say on this another killer opening riff.
God.
Yeah, I put accept.
Yeah,
You know.
and his tone
I-
is freaking awesome.
I think the riff's better than You're in Love. I mean, I love You're in Love,
Yeah.
but this riff is so cool.
That tone is right though.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You got a great guitar tone.
And I love his vocal, his sound. It's distinctive. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's
Oh, yeah.
different. You know.
The riff in the chorus is good too.
I
changes
wrote the
that
exact
up.
same thing. Yep.
It's like he just changes the chord structures through the song.
So you take Piercy here, and now you can argue that he hasn't been able to sustain his voice at his age now, but listening to this and then listening to like Mike Tramp from, with the screaming and all that, like, no balls to his vocals,
No.
but then you listen to Piercy and you're like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is rock.
Oh, when this first come out, you never heard a voice like this guy.
No.
You were just mesmerized by, wow, it's
Yeah.
different,
I always had a weird. Well, we talked about this on the first album. He had that adamant look.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
a hero of his.
Yeah. No, we talked about it in that first
Yeah.
album. Like, that's,
I never picked up on it back then.
No.
Now, if you look at Adam
Well,
Man, you go, yeah, maybe he did.
we never
grab
picked
that.
up on it, but something about it always bugged me. It was always like he had the hair on the
Yeah,
side. I was
Yeah,
always
yeah,
like, what's
yeah,
he
yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
Wow, because the blonde David Lee Roth, Vince Neil, Brett Michaels thing was the lead singer kind of token look, and he didn't have that.
Right.
But I almost liked it a little bit.
Yeah,
He
definitely
looked like
different.
all the rest of them,
All right, next song, Lay It Down. So, Nikki, this is how you write a song.
Jesus Christ. I
Jesus.
mean, this is Ratt right here. If you could take one song, the people will say round and round.
I like this better than Round.
This is better. And how about that rhythm section kicking in? Like the drums.
Well, that
like
drum.
gunfire. Yeah. That's what I mean. I think that I put down like Crüe here. Like, wow. I mean, maybe it's production, but it doesn't sound bad.
I think this is one of the greatest guitar riffs of that era.
Yeah.
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 I could just remember watching
Well-
MTV and just watching him play that intro going, I can't wait till the video comes on again just so I can watch that
and
intro.
then they slow it down a little bit with the tempo, and then they pick it back up. Oh, yeah.
Just a great, that's a classic.
And Bobby Blotzer's groove, I instantly go to like, sounds like Bonham. Sounds like something Bonham
Yeah.
would play.
Yeah. And he locks it in with Crucier's doing playing it on the bass.
I thought they were. I just put down they were outstanding on this.
This is
album.
good songwriting. That's how
Yeah.
you write songs.
Right.
you know?
Yep. All right.
Great solo too.
Oh, yeah.
The solo and it's freaking awesome.
All right.
That might be my favorite Ratt song.
Yeah. Yep.
Next song, Give It All.
You give me cat scratch fever.
Yeah, it's got that feel, yeah.
Damn,
Yep.
damn, damn, damn.
Yeah.
Great riff. I don't know. I just love everything he's playing so far on guitar.
Yeah.
Guy's underrated. Never comes up in
Who,
conversations.
DeMartini?
Nah. I mean,
With
does
guitar
worse.
with guitar players like he does.
Crosby's no slouch either.
No.
No.
You know, I mean, he may not be.
I don't think he can solo like
No,
Dee
no,
Martini.
but I mean, them together, there was that
Yeah, it was a good
chemistry.
tandem.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the song was
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
solid track. And then he has another great. He changes the riff when they go to the pre-chorus, right before the chorus comes in. He changes it on a lot of these songs. It's
Yeah.
something cool, and then they go into the chorus.
it's so
The guy
great.
is freaking talented.
Little better than the riffs on that Motley album, I think. But all right, Closer to My Heart. All right, Dennis.
So this picks up. The tempo
Yeah.
gets up
Towards the end,
in the rhythm section. So this is obviously a slower song, but it does pick up a little bit. It's not as good as the other four songs, but I don't mind this. I think it's something different. Would you call this a ballad?
well, I got
Yeah,
it's
It
a
slows-
semi-ballad without the cheese.
Yeah,
They managed to keep it without going to cheese land. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
but
So
the
I like
rhythm
that.
section, the drums and the bass, you really feel
Yeah,
it.
it was more moody than
Yeah.
ballady, you know?
Yep.
And it had a good solo outro. From,
Yes.
DeMartini at the end, he kind of soloed out.
Yeah.
Nice. And it picked up. Like I think we
Yeah.
were talking about, they picked up the tempo.
Right.
Yep.
What do you think?
No, same thing. It's it was their closest to a ballad, and I don't even think they actually ever
I
did
think
a
it's
ballad.
right
until,
on
like,
that cusp.
to
Yeah.
like Detonator or something.
Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
That was the first
Yeah.
time they really approached a love ballad, if you will.
You know, it's interesting.
Which is funny because I think Ratt's biggest demise, or the thing that people poked fun at, especially after the next album, was the lyrical content. It was always me man, you girl,
Yeah.
and it got over the top.
I want a woman.
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
a little girl.
It's like
They got a little cheesy.
that
Right.
was the biggest thing. Nick against them was that.
Yeah, but then he comes
It-
out
what's-
Way Cool Junior's awesome.
But what's funny is, so you think with all of that, he could write a love song ballad, and they just never
they
did
never
it.
did.
No.
They never had that big.
I think on
They never had a Home Sweet Home, right?
Right. No.
on Detonator there was some love song. I forget what it was called. I think, but all right. So the next song is Between the Eyes. Kick that one. I gotta say, I love the melody, the vocal melody, how he sings
The way
that.
he's saying it, yeah.
You know, it's freaking great.
Yeah, and he's got another good riff. Not the greatest on here. I think I like the other.
Decent
four
solo,
before that
though.
better. Huh? Oh, the
His
solo's
solo.
good in this. Good solo in this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of hear he's kind of rehashing some of the same kind of things he does.
Right.
But still good.
Although I love that melody, I just said another kind of an okay track. Not a great open. This is side 2. Not a great
Yep.
opener for
Yeah.
side 2.
Yep.
But anyways. All right, next song is What You Give Is What You Get. I make my moves and I make them right, Mark.
I love that chug
Oh yeah, dun dun dun. Between the riff.
in between the riff.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that Piercy in the song structure lets, like, he comes in a little bit later here, so he's
Lets it
letting,
Lets the song
yeah,
breathe,
he's letting his guitar players just kind of
Well,
warm it up.
Juan, this song is written by Juan, 100%. Vocal, riff, everything.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, this says Crüe here. Ah.
Mark, do you-
D. Martini doesn't write a lot of songs on there.
well,
Well, you lay it down.
Steven writes a lot of them, guitar-wise even.
A lot of peers. He's a good guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mark, do you remember the ending? If not, we'll play it after this, but he does a double kick pattern at the end of the song.
Oh, I'll
It's
have to listen back.
very cool.
Did I make a note on that? No.
No, it's very good.
But boy, great D. Martini solo. The guy is just
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he's back with him? Is
Yeah.
he playing with Piercy again?
He is.
They're doing shows.
They're doing
yeah.
shows.
Yep. With Cavasso.
Right.
Carlos Cavasso.
I don't know who's and that's upsetting to me because I see Jeff Keith killing it, and then I see some videos of Piercy, and it's like, I want to go see it.
Yeah, but it's just not a voice that aged well. But then you could say the same thing with Keith, but Keith's got to be doing something, working
He
out.
must have
or-
got some surgery or
Yeah,
training
yeah.
or stopped smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
All right, next song is "Got Me on the Line."
Hello?
Hello. I mean, that
That was a bit cheesy.
that's hello. Bill Toll and I used to always do that. When he'd call, like I'd know it was him and be like, "Hello."
Yeah, I mean, song's decent, but what this band understands is how to structure songs correctly.
Right.
Even the weaker songs are catchy
Yeah,
and sing along. This
Well,
isn't
they
a
were-
great tune,
Yeah, a little more poppy for
but
them.
you can sit there and sing along to it.
I wrote the same thing, Mark.
Got me on a line, you know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly.
They knew how to dial it in,
Yep.
you know?
He had more melodic choruses than Motley.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he could sing better. He was a
Yeah.
better
But like something, yeah. You should know by now. All right.
Well,
That
Dennis's
ending
point.
piece reminded me of Aerosmith.
Oh, very bluesy.
Joe Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because they're huge Aerosmith
Yep.
fans.
Yep.
And that was really good. Yep, that was cool.
And to your point on Crosby, he does lay down a solid rhythm for
yeah.
D. Martini to do his thing. I don't think he gets enough credit
No.
for that. You know, he's almost like Brad Whitford.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the solo in here, it's both of them.
Yeah,
I think
you're
they're
right.
going
They're playing
trading
off
off
each
or
other.
playing together.
Yeah.
Kind of a filler track, but so chorus comes in, you're singing right along.
Yeah, I remember the thing about Ratt. I always thought Ratt was like the king of the B-sides or the hidden gems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
they always had the solid songs, right? The one or the two. But if you dug a little deeper and you bought the album, which we did back then, you see these other songs come through.
Yeah.
Like on the last album, Scene of the Crime and things like that. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
I bought it for Round and Round or Back for More.
Right.
But now I walk away saying, I don't like
think
these
this
other
is my
songs.
favorite, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've
Yeah.
talked about that. Some other bands, these would be hits on their albums.
Yeah.
Because their albums, their songs are so weak that they could take these and be better than what they
they
have
have,
on
yeah.
there.
I mean, he's a good songwriter.
yeah, these
You
are
know,
all
I mean, it's
strong
really,
songs.
Having said that, I think we're starting to see, we're the ninth song. We got one more song.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see some of these falling off.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The first five are like,
Yeah,
up
I
there.
mean, obviously the beginning of this album is the strongest part
Sure.
of this album.
Yep.
Could they, maybe we talked about that, change the order, maybe. Took
Yeah,
a
I
few
mean,
of
it's
those
not greatest
first four
hits.
And stuck
I
'em,
mean, yeah.
I don't know who's in control of that. Is that your producer tells the arrangement of like where the songs are going to fall on your album?
Engineer, yeah.
If
Yeah,
I'm
no
sitting
idea.
there, I'm going, I might want to take that second song on the first album, put that on the first track on the second side, or something.
yep. Yeah. All right, last song, Dangerous, but worth the risk.
I mean, they got some short titles.
Sounded like Can't Get It Right there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is probably the weaker track on
Yeah.
the
Yes.
album. They put it last, which I think is common back in those days. Forgettable. For me, I think I want to end my album on a good tune. That's the last song they're going to hear.
Well, that's what Megadeth did.
When that album's over, you think of that last
Right.
freaking tune.
Yeah.
But a lot of bands stuck that shit at the end.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was smart,
Right.
I agree. I don't have anything to add other than my comment above. Like, these songs are ticking
They
off.
were,
Yeah.
they were fading down.
Yep.
It's hard to write 10 great songs. I'm
Well,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's.
Well, look, I mean, what do we have? Probably 8. Motley had maybe 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the only bands that were pulling that shit off was Van Halen, like 1
Right.
and 2, and it's just like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, every song
Right.
is fucking
That's great.
a gem. But that's, not all bands have that ability.
Right. I agree. All right. Well, say what you will. Does this album hold up? I'm going to go first.
Go ahead, D. What do you got?
I am going to, in my best Dennis fashion, I'm just going to say yes. No, I think it holds up. I mean, these first 2 albums are great, and this is right there. Everything, I'd listen to this right after we end the podcast. So.
What do you got, man?
Yes.
And that's a yes for me.
I don't know what else to say.
Like
you
we
know.
said, 2 super hits.
Yeah.
And the ones that weren't hits are still strong songs
Yeah.
on anyone else's albums.
Yep.
This album was huge and had an impact on the whole scene back then. Not only people in the scene, but people who wanted to get into business. These guys were an influence. If you wanted to get on the Sunset Strip,
Right.
This is the architecture.
Ratt and Motley were
Ratt,
and
Motley
Dawkins
Crüe.
were the
Dawkins.
3
Yep.
like
These guys.
early 80s, mid 80s.
This is the freaking
Yep.
blueprint
That's right. Yep.
right here.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Great little album selection for 1985.
Kind of refreshing to have
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
albums.
especially after
I think we
the
got
last-
some good ones coming up too.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Cool.
But all right. Well, any parting words, Dennis?
You want to rank them or no?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
like it.
let's do it.
All right. Oh God, this is tough. Oh, it's not that tough.
I got mine.
Yeah. Okay. 3, Molly. 2, let me say 1B Megadeth and then Ratt 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same here.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with Megadeth.
I was too.
I was too.
I wasn't very familiar with it.
Yeah.
I think I put Ratt a little bit because I just love the album.
Yeah.
Growing up,
Yeah.
I had more impact on me. Obviously, that Megadeth album's great. And
I might dig out some more Megadeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
well, Peace.
Yeah, that's
Peace Cells is good.
yeah.
I mean, you got some good shit.
All right. Well,
All right.
leave comments, share. I saw that now. I didn't even realize this on Spotify. You can leave comments about a podcast. So
Oh, cool.
leave the comments right in there. And, Kilmer, if you feel we botched the Motley stuff, definitely let us know.
Or if we
And,
missed anything that we didn't
Right.
bring up.
Yeah.
Correct us.
Yeah. We should probably maybe for the cover of the podcast put that picture of him dressed up as Motley Crue on the when they did that talent show.
Oh, Scott?
Yeah, remember that talent show picture?
He'd love it.
All right, well,
It's coming.
all right. Thanks for listening and share and comment and tell all your friends and we'll see you next time. Peace.
See you.